Have you ever thought that your body might be more than just flesh and blood? What if I told you that it holds a profound truth, something beyond what you see in the mirror? Did you know that the pain, limitations, and even wounds you carry may have a much deeper meaning? What you're feeling in your body may be reflecting something from your soul, and there's a divine message behind it all. Today, I'm going to reveal the truth that two angels brought to me that could change your life. Are you ready to understand the true purpose of your body and discover the path to spiritual healing that goes beyond medicine? Stay with me until the end of this video and get ready for a revelation that will change the way you perceive yourself forever. What do you feel when you look at your body? We are often led to see only the physical, the structure, the flesh. We are taught to see the body as something that serves our practical lives, something that needs to be taken care of, fed, and often corrected or perfected. But what if I told you that the human body is much more than that? It's not just a machine, a biological construct that automatically works to perfection. What if your body is actually a reflection of something much greater? Have you ever stopped to think that every cell, every movement, even the way you feel pain, fear, and anxiety, has a greater purpose? I'm not just talking about how science explains the human body. I want you to look at your body in a different way, with a deeper view that goes beyond its appearance. What you see in the mirror is only a small part of who you really are. When the Father sent me into the world, I had the opportunity to touch the lives of many through my body. The healings I performed, the miracles I witnessed, were not just about restoring physical health. Those who came to me were not only seeking relief from physical pain, but in a deeper way they were seeking inner transformation. What I always wanted to show was that healing is not just about correcting the physical, but also about restoring the spirit, the soul. The body and the soul are connected in a deep way, more than many people realize. This is something that the angels, beings, who inhabit the spiritual realms know very well. They have revealed to me truths about the human body that few people know. And through these revelations, I began to understand that the human body is a field of divine experience. It is not something to be rejected or discarded, but rather a way for God to manifest Himself through us in ways that few can perceive. When you feel pain or when your body gets tired, perhaps it's time to reflect. Is there something deeper going on? Could it be that the marks and signs you carry, whether physical or emotional, have something to teach us? And this is where divine revelation about the body comes in. What you see is often only part of the story. What is happening inside you, in your emotions, thoughts, and feelings, has the power to directly reflect what you are experiencing physically. That's why we should look at our body not just as a shell, but as a divine expression. The body is a reflection of who you are, how you see yourself, how you connect to the divine. When the body suffers, it can be a sign that there is something in your soul that needs to be restored, that needs to be healed. And that healing doesn't just come from physical treatments, but from a transformation that comes from within, in the heart, mind, and soul. Have you ever felt that the pain in your body goes beyond a physical problem, that there is something deeper behind it? This is because the body actually bears the marks of our emotions and experiences. It's a reflection of our inner journey, our beliefs, and our state of mind. Sometimes the physical difficulties we face can be the outward manifestation of something that needs to be healed on the inside. And this is what the angels revealed to me. The body is not something to be neglected, but it is through the body that many truths are manifested. The human body is a channel through which the divine expresses itself, and through it we can learn to better understand our own souls. Every wound, every discomfort carries a divine message. As we advance in our understanding of the body and its relationship to the spirit, it begins to become clear that the way we deal with the physical can profoundly affect our spirituality. But how can we begin to look at our bodies with wiser eyes? How can we understand and respond to the signals it gives us in a way that is not just physical, but spiritual? The body is not just a structure of bones and flesh. It is a link between the visible and the invisible, between what we see and what we feel. In every breath, in every movement, God is present, guiding us, shaping us, and it is from this perception that true transformation begins. With it, we can see that the human body is not a mystery of pain and suffering, but a channel of revelation and healing. And in understanding this truth, we begin to see our own lives in a whole new way. What is pain? What is healing? Perhaps it is all just a reflection of what we are living within. It is this truth that the angels have come to bring, and it is this revelation that you are about to discover. The true nature of the human body and how it connects to the divine, to your soul, and to the healing that you seek. And as you look at your body with these new eyes, you will begin to realize something extraordinary. Your body is a reflection of God's love, and every pain, every difficulty has the power to transform when you learn to see what lies beyond the appearance. It's easy to get lost in the currents of everyday life, isn't it? Sometimes it seems that what really matters is what's in front of our eyes, what we can touch, see, and measure. We are so used to the tangible that we forget that there is something much deeper, invisible, that permeates every moment and every detail of our existence. And when I talk about the divine gaze, I'm talking about that dimension that goes beyond what you can perceive with your physical eyes alone. It sounds simple. You look in the mirror and see your body. But what are you really seeing? Can you see what is beyond the flesh, what is beyond your limitations, your flaws, your marks? I would like to invite you to think about this in a new way, because the divine gaze doesn't see things the way you do. The Father sees the heart, the soul, the essence behind everything. He sees man in his fullness, not just the imperfections that you can see. He doesn't see the flaws, he sees the potential, the purpose that you have, the path that you can take. When the angels revealed to me the truth about the human body, they showed me that what we consider a flaw or fragility is often an outward manifestation of something that needs to be seen and healed from the inside out. Throughout my journey, I saw how people carry pain not only in their bodies but in their souls, in their emotions, and how that pain is reflected physically. What is inside becomes visible to us, often without our realizing it. But the divine gaze sees beyond that. It sees the infinite possibilities that dwell in each of us, even in our weaknesses. It's a gaze that doesn't judge, but welcomes. It doesn't see flaws, but opportunities for grace and healing to manifest. God sees you with compassion, with a gaze of unconditional love. He sees not only what you are now, but all that you can become if you open yourself to the truth about your own life. It's important that you understand this. The divine gaze upon you is not limited by the boundaries of time and space. It sees the past, the present, and the future in a single moment. It sees your pain, but it also sees the path to healing. It's not limited to your physical body. It sees beyond that. It sees your soul, your history, your struggles, and it sees your victories as well. You may ask yourself, how can I access this divine gaze upon me? The answer is simple. It all begins with acceptance. Accepting that deep down you are more than what you appear to the world. The divine gaze is always available, but in order to see it, you must let go of judgment and doubt. When you begin to look at yourself through the eyes of the Father, you begin to see that there is nothing in you to reject. Every part of your being, every wound, every joy is part of the great work that God is creating in you. But if you don't see this right away, as the angels told me, don't worry. The divine gaze is not something that requires perfection, but willingness. And sometimes it's in accepting our flaws that we find true vision. True transformation comes when you begin to see your body and soul with a more compassionate eye. When you allow yourself to see yourself as the Father sees you, with love, with patience, with hope. Now stop for a moment and think, what would your life be like if you looked at yourself with God's eyes? And more importantly, what would it be like if you saw others in the same way? How would it change the way you relate to your own difficulties, your failures, and even your joys? This is my invitation to you. Try to see the divine in everything you are, in everything you have, in everything you do. It doesn't matter where you are or what your struggle is. You are worthy of that look. You deserve to be seen as a beautiful creation. Change begins when you open yourself to that vision, when you let go of judgment and allow yourself to see what is divine in you. And then transformation begins, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. You begin to see that what you call imperfection, failure, or pain is actually an opportunity to reveal the depths of your being. As you progress in this understanding, you begin to see that the body, in its fragility, is a tool for divine purpose. Have you ever stopped to think that everything you carry, the limitations and difficulties, have something to teach you? They are part of your journey, your process of transformation. They are not obstacles, but lessons that, when understood, can bring you closer to living according to the divine gaze. This view is always available to you. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to see more clearly. When you begin to see your body through God's eyes, you realize that every moment is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to heal. And in doing so, what seemed like weakness begins to become strength. What seemed like a defect begins to become part of your transformative power. Now think about what your life would be like if you saw each day as a chance to start anew with God's vision for your life, your body, and your soul. What could you heal? What could you improve? What could you transform just by starting to look at yourself with a fresh eye? This is the power of the divine gaze, and it is with this gaze that you can begin to change everything. And when you do, you begin to realize that there is so much more to be revealed about who you really are. Have you ever wondered why sometimes what you want most, peace, happiness, healing, always seems out of reach? It may be that you've been preoccupied only with the outward, your body, your work, your relationships, your successes. But the truth, as the angels have revealed to me, is that the secret of freedom and healing is not only in what is visible. It lies in what you carry within, in the deepest parts of your being. As I walked among the people and lived among those who were searching for answers, I realized something very important. Many focused on what was visible, on what they could touch and measure. But inside they were carrying a much heavier weight. They were losing touch with the deeper truth that God wanted them to see. I saw that in many cases, physical healing could only occur when there was inner transformation. The body was only the outward expression of a soul that needed to be restored. The angel's words were clear. The human body is not only a reflection of the physical, but also of the spiritual. This means that all wounds, all physical and emotional difficulties, can be manifestations of what you are experiencing on the inside. The body is a reflection of the state of your soul. When you feel disconnected, lost, or overwhelmed, it can be reflected in your body. And often when you find peace within, the body begins to respond differently. Healing begins within. I have seen this in many people who have come to me for help. People would come with sick bodies, but during our conversations and prayers, the real healing happened as they began to open up to God's love, to acceptance, and to the truth of who they really were. And that is when the physical began to improve. Because at the end of the day, true health is not the absence of pain, it's the harmony of body, mind, and spirit. What the angels taught me was that the human body contains divine wisdom. It is more than a biological structure. It is a manifestation of a higher power. Did you know that your cells, your organs, your senses are all connected to something much larger than you can imagine? The healing, transformation, and liberation we so desperately seek is within us, as we seek to understand and live in harmony with what God has prepared for us. But how do we access this liberating truth? How can we open ourselves to the revelation the angels showed me? The answer lies in our own surrender. When we surrender to the divine, when we seek to know our true essence, we begin to realize that healing is not something that comes from the outside in. It comes from within. True freedom begins with recognizing who we really are, beloved children of God, created with purpose and love. We must understand that the body, as much as we see it as a physical instrument, is also a key to our spiritual liberation. And liberation is not just about physical pain or suffering, but liberation from the ego, fears, guilt, and limiting beliefs that we carry. When you allow yourself to live this truth, the truth that you are more than your pain, more than your appearance, more than the mistakes you've made, you begin to experience real transformation. And that transformation begins to happen in subtle but powerful ways. You begin to realize that spiritual healing is the way to physical healing. I'm not saying that everything you feel in your body will be instantly healed, but the inner peace that you begin to feel will begin to be reflected in all aspects of your life, and with that, the body will align. Think for a moment. What would your life be like if you could see your body not as something separate from you, but as an extension of your soul. And more importantly, what would it be like if you could finally see your body and your life as an expression of divine love and care? That is the first step toward true liberation, and the good news is that you already have everything you need. The freedom you seek does not lie in something external, but in a transformation that begins in the heart, in a deep understanding of your identity in God. When you reconcile with your true essence, you begin to release all the potential that God has placed within you. And as you do that, your body, your emotions, your mind, everything begins to find harmony and balance. So when you look at yourself, don't see a flawed or imperfect being. See a being created with love, a being worthy of divine peace and healing. As you begin to live this truth, your body and soul will align with God's purpose for you, and so you will begin to experience the true liberation that can only come from the heart. That's why true freedom is not only freedom from physical pain, but freedom from the limitations imposed by ego, fear, and doubt. It is through this liberation that you will find peace and healing for your body and soul. When you surrender to the divine and live according to the truth of who you are, you begin to live a transformed life. And this transformation will gradually be reflected in all areas of your life, including your physical health. Have you ever noticed how often what the body is carrying in pain goes far beyond a simple lack of physical health? Have you ever wondered if the illnesses and pains you feel have something to do with what you carry inside? There is a deep connection between what you feel physically and what your soul is experiencing. The body, as the angels revealed to me, speaks the language of the spirit, and often physical wounds are just a reflection of the wounds you carry in your heart. The body is a link between matter and spirit, and it has its own language that we often do not understand. The pain you feel, whether it's a backache, a persistent headache, or even more serious illness, can be a sign of something deeper that needs to be heard. Physical suffering is often a reflection of unresolved emotions, traumas, fears, and even resentments that have built up over a lifetime. When you learn to look at the body in this way, as a sign, a message of what is going on inside you, you begin to see suffering in a different way. I saw this clearly on my journey. Many people came to me looking for a cure for their bodies, but during the healing process, they realized that the real cure came when they began to open up to inner transformation. Forgiveness, inner peace, and the release of old emotions all had a direct impact on physical healing. The body speaks to the soul in a silent but clear way. Every pain, every tension, every discomfort carries a message that needs to be heard. I've seen many people healed not only by physical touch, but by a change of perspective, by healing the soul. When you learn to let go of emotional burdens, the body begins to respond differently. The miracle of spiritual healing begins to manifest in the physical. Sometimes physical pain is God's way of drawing our attention to something we are neglecting in our emotional or spiritual life. I've seen this clearly when people are stuck in fear, guilt, or resentment. The body, in its wisdom, became a reflection of these emotions, and physical suffering was just the spirit's way of asking for healing. That's why I've taught everyone over the years that true healing comes from within. I'm not saying that medicine has no value. It is important, and we should take care of our bodies with the best that science has to offer. But true transformation, true liberation, comes when we are able to see the body not just as a biological structure, but as a reflection of our inner health. And when we manage to take care of our soul, the body begins to align and the wounds begin to heal. For example, imagine a person who has been carrying around years of accumulated anger. This anger often manifests physically in the form of muscle tension, back pain, or even digestive problems. But when they begin to forgive, when they begin to release those feelings, they not only feel emotional relief, but they also begin to notice that the physical pain begins to subside. That is the connection between the body and the soul. The body speaks and the soul listens, if you allow yourself to listen. I've always said that faith, forgiveness, and peace are powerful healing tools. When you open your heart to God's love, you not only restore your soul, you restore your body. When you reconcile with others and with yourself, you allow God's peace to flow through you, and that is reflected in your physical health. Forgiveness isn't just for the other person, it's for you. It is the key to releasing the tension, suffering, and pain that is stored within you both emotionally and physically. When you begin to understand that your wounds, whether physical or emotional, can be sources of learning and healing, you begin to experience a profound transformation. You stop seeing suffering as punishment and begin to see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn to trust God more, to open your heart and allow divine healing to enter your life. Every wound, every pain, has the power to be transformed if you choose to look at it with the eyes of compassion and forgiveness. And healing doesn't come only through great miracles. Sometimes it begins with a small gesture of kindness to yourself, a choice to treat yourself with more love, more patience, and more understanding. Every time you forgive yourself, every time you choose to release the emotional weight, you take a step toward healing. And it's a long road, but it's a beautiful one, because when you heal your soul, you heal your body. Don't underestimate the power of the soul to heal the body. As you begin to understand this, your life changes, and in the process you will realize that true peace does not come from the absence of pain, but from the acceptance and understanding that every pain, every suffering has a purpose. They are not punishments, but opportunities to connect more deeply with the truth of who you are. They are the bridge between the visible and the invisible, between the physical and the spiritual. So when you begin to listen to your body, when you open up to the signals it gives you, you begin to understand that healing is not in fighting it, but in understanding and respecting it as a reflection of what's going on inside of you. The body speaks, and when you learn to listen, you begin to realize that healing is already within you, waiting to manifest. Have you ever stopped to think about what your life would be like if you lived in true peace? Not the momentary peace that comes from favorable circumstances or from something external, but a deep peace that transcends everything, that comes from a higher place and that remains even in times of difficulty. This peace is the key to true transformation, the transformation that can bring balance, healing, and a deep sense of freedom. When the angels revealed to me the truth about the human body and its connection to the soul, one of the most powerful messages was about the peace that God wants to give to all His children. This peace is not just a state of mind or a temporary feeling, but a reality that must be experienced in every aspect of life. To achieve this peace, it is necessary to understand that it does not depend on external circumstances, but on our connection to the divine and our ability to surrender control into God's hands. Have you ever tried to control everything in your life? Perhaps you've tried to shape the world around you to fit your desire for comfort or security, but the truth is that this control often only creates more fear, more frustration, and more suffering. God, in His wisdom, offers us something deeper, the peace that comes from trusting Him, from surrendering our fears, pains, and anxieties to Him. It is this process of surrender that initiates true transformation. When you surrender to God's will, when you accept that there is a greater purpose for your life, you begin to live differently. The struggles that once seemed unbearable begin to lose their power. Difficulties don't magically disappear, but you begin to see them in a new light, with an inner peace that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. The path of transformation, as I have seen in many who have walked with me, is a path of trust and surrender. I have taught them, and continue to teach them, that true freedom begins when we surrender to the Father and allow Him to be our strength. Transformation is not something you do on your own, but something that happens when you allow God's presence to enter your life and change what needs to be changed, starting with your heart. This peace that comes from God is a liberating force. It doesn't free us from difficulties, but it gives us the strength to face them with courage and serenity. I have seen and I still see people who, when they accept God's peace in their hearts, begin to walk through their lives with an ease, a grace, as if they were guided by an invisible but very real force. It is this divine power that sustains us in times of trial, that enables us to forgive, to love, and to move forward even when the path seems uncertain. You are not alone in this journey. When you seek God's peace, you also open yourself to divine help. And that doesn't mean you have to have all the answers or understand the whole plan. It simply means that you can trust that God has a purpose for you, even in the most difficult situations. He is working in your life in ways that you may not be able to see now, but that will become clear in time. I know life can be difficult. That difficulties are real and can sometimes make us feel directionless, but it is in the moments of greatest difficulty that God's peace can be felt most clearly. When you choose to trust and embrace that peace, you begin to realize that even in the strongest storms, there is a safe haven in God's heart. It's as if by receiving this peace, you are able to face adversity with a quiet confidence that everything will fall into place according to God's plan. Transformation also comes from practicing this peace in your daily life. By treating others with more kindness, by forgiving those who have hurt you, by choosing calm over anger, by being a beacon of light wherever you are. Each of these small gestures, when done with a peaceful heart, becomes a manifestation of God's love in the world. And in this way, you will transform your life and the lives of those around you. True transformation doesn't happen overnight, but is an ongoing process of surrender, trust, and acceptance. As you begin to experience this inner transformation, the changes in your body, your health, and your mind become more evident. Your inner peace begins to be reflected in your actions, your words, and even your energy. You begin to see the world differently, with eyes of compassion, and that in itself is a great transformation. So my invitation to you today is to allow yourself to receive that peace. Not the peace that comes from the world, but divine peace, the kind that is true and lasting. When you receive that peace in your heart, you begin to release everything that is holding you back from living fully. You free yourself from the chains of fear, guilt, and anger, and begin to live a life that is fuller, lighter, and more connected to the divine. Allow this peace to seep deep into your being and watch your life begin to transform. Healing is not just about overcoming difficulties. It is about finding peace within yourself. And this peace is a gift from God that is available to all His children. All you have to do is open up to receive it. You carry the divine light within you, and that light is capable of transforming everything around you. Body, soul, and spirit are intertwined in a mystery of love and healing that God has prepared for you. By accepting God's peace and trusting His purpose, you free yourself from the chains that bind you and begin to live the fullness of life that He has designed for you. There is no pain, no fear that can resist the power of true transformation. As you surrender, trust, and live with God's gaze upon you, you will find the healing you have always sought. The peace you seek is within you, waiting to be revealed. The road to freedom begins in your heart. May you be enveloped in divine peace. May your soul be restored and your body healed. May your life reflect the light of God's love in every step you take. May you discover the freedom and transformation that is already within you. May your path be illuminated, and may you discover the peace that dwells within you.